Hey guys, welcome back to Coin Knowledge. So today I just want to go over a couple free tools in the AI agent space that you can actually start implementing and using today that again require no investment whatsoever. A couple tools here that you can actually follow on Twitter that actually help you stay up to date in where the money is going in the crypto space. Maybe be aware of some new projects and get some feedback. Hopefully makes your life a little easier for keeping up to date with what all is happening. But as always guys, if you guys get value out of the content here, if you want to stay up to date with what we're putting out, if you guys could subscribe to the channel and like the video, your support means a lot. So if you actually take a look at the AI agent narrative, well, we know that AI agents, in my opinion, is going to continue to be a hot narrative throughout this cycle. I believe 2025 is going to be huge for AI agents. We are just seeing the markets, obviously in poor conditions right now, but I do fully expect AI agents to make a comeback. Now, all these projects we're talking about today, all these platforms, these agents do have tokens tied to them. But again, to actually use these, these platforms, these agents in the way that we going over with today, you do not have to buy the tokens, but we will go over the tokens, give you guys my opinion, and just highlight where they're at currently, where potentially they could go. But again, just realize you do not have to put up any initial investment to actually use these projects and these tools today. So the first one is going to be AIXBT. Now, obviously, if you're in the agent space, in the crypto Twitter space, AIXBT should be nothing new to you, but it is one of the more bigger ones, essentially becoming what feels like one of the biggest KOLs or influencers in the space, which is weird to say about an AI agent launched on virtuals. But if we look at it, we've seen AIXBT have a explosive run here over the last 90 days or so, running from literally hundredths of a penny all the way up to half a dollar, and it got close to a dollar here recently. It got all the way up to 94 cents here, but at a 500 just under a $500 million market cap. I think if you're looking for one of those leaders in the AI agent space, especially when it comes to, let's just say, for lack of a better term, alpha, agents that, provides useful feedback, AIXBT to me is still going to be one of the leaders in the AI agent space. Now, again, this is not necessary to go over the tokens themselves, as it is more of just awareness that you guys can actually follow these agents on Twitter and start using them as well. So the point of AIXBT, as far as what we're going to be covering in today's video, you can actually reach out to AIXBT. So you can put out on Twitter like a tweet of, hey, AIXBT, what do you think of this project? So we've got replies here. Again, a lot of people, just that's all it takes, that you can just tag AIXBT on what do you think of this project, what do you think of this project, and tag it, and it will literally, this agent will give you its feedback here as well, which is insane. Now, obviously on its own, it also does put out constant update on different projects here, with different meme coins, different projects of all the different space. You can see, literally if we scroll down a little bit, it's just giving out an update on Frog, which obviously was one of the more leading Solana, up-and-coming Solana meme coins recently, but it just gives you updates, stuff on Frog. Just as an example here, volume maintaining 27 million while sitting at 84% drawdown from all-time highs. So it gives you feedback on all these different projects. And again, if you just follow AIXBT, you'll be aware of so many new projects, and you can always ask it for its feedback. It'll give it back to you. And as well, you might even find new projects to be aware of as it gives out constant updates. It's essentially a quick way to stay in the loop of generally what's happening with a lot of different projects in the space. And again, a great way of potentially finding new projects for you to do your own research into. Now, as always with all these tools, this is just to help get you more in the loop and get some feedback. Obviously, AIXBT, I wouldn't go throwing any amount of money in just off of what AIXBT says. So if AIXBT says that this project's going to be bullish or going to go to this, don't just say that it is going to happen. Obviously, you still have to do your own research, but we see that AIXBT, literally 19 hours ago, Limbo, an AI agent tied to Today the Game, or previously Today the Game, Umai, I think is the project's name now. One that we've talked about in the past, carving out gaming AI agent territory at $18 million market cap, while competitors like Ava and Mates sit at $200 million. So that actually was a little bit of alpha here, because now we see, that was yesterday, now we see Limbo at about a $30 million market cap. So again, that's not always going to happen, but if you were following AIXBT and you saw this tweet, and you're aware of Ava with Hollow World and Momates with the Mates token that we've covered recently, and saw Limbo, and if you weren't aware of it and you saw AI Agent, AI Gaming, 18 million versus the competitors are at 200 million, then you can use that kind of theory to look at Limbo and say, all right, maybe I should look more into this token. And maybe, again, it's not always going to happen, but you could see the fact that Limbo was undervalued at 18 million, and now we're seeing it about a 2x, up already from this tweet. And again, AIXBT, when it does tweet out bullish things about tokens, it is essentially like that KOL, big KOL effects. It can move the price, whether it says bullish or bearish sentiments about a specific token. But as always, please do your own research, just use it. And again, the beauty here is that you can just follow AIXBT on Twitter. You don't have to buy the token, obviously, to follow it on Twitter, and you just have the access to it. So that's the first AI agent you can use for free. Literally right now, as you're watching the video, you can follow AIXBT or any of these guys on Twitter and start using them, on the X platform. So AIXBT is one that I would recommend using, or at least following, because again, it's free and it gives you, constant market updates, and you can always reach out, tag it, and say, what do you think of Solana versus Sui? And it will give you its opinion. So that is agent number one. The second one, which is kind of familiar or similar to AIXBT, is DTRXBT, an agent launched by Ghost, a influencer, I guess you could say an influencer in the space, Ghost93_X here. When we look at DTRXBT, it says that it is more of a alpha AI bot community, Telegram right there also. It's pretty similar to AIXBT, obviously not as big. It literally just came out here recently. It was one of those CeFi launches that we talked about a little while ago. It launched around the same time as like DeFi and Kira as well, other projects we mentioned. But we take a look at it. Now, it is also down from where it got up to about a $35 million market cap. The big thing here is that it is $13 million right now. Now, it does have that, again, that launch from CeFi Fund, and also being launched by a pretty reputable, I would say, person in the space. Ghost here has quite a few followers. You can go ahead and follow him as well. When we look at AIXBT at a $500 million market cap versus DTRXBT at a $13 million market cap, you can see that there might be potential room for growth for something like DTRXBT. But when we take a look at it, it also gives out, updates on different tokens as well. Not as often or aggressive, I'd say, as AIXBT, because I think a lot more, people are reaching out to AIXBT. But, it does give you different outtake on different tokens. We see a bunch of like these meme coins it's speculating on here recently with stuff like Stupid, Cloudy, a couple of meme coins we've seen some whales buy, which we'll get into later on throughout the video. But it just gives you, again, updates on different projects that are being launched. So it does post pretty often, but again, understand that it is newer here. So Ghost right here with 32,000 followers. And a lot of people do follow him, at least a lot of mutual followers that I have. But either way, so again, this is another one that you can follow literally for free here, but understand that it is a lot newer than AIXBT. But because it's literally no harm in following it, I would recommend it, because even though if you just catch one potential win out of following any of these agents or any of these tools, then it literally makes it worth it, because it costs nothing, and I guarantee you'll get some kind of value out of it if you use it just to get exposure to these different projects and then do your own research from there. Because as always, you have to do your own research on this stuff. It's just giving you the awareness of it and keeping you up to date. And then you can use that ticker and look up the token and use your own research from there to decide if you want to buy it, if it's undervalued or if it's overvalued. You get the point there. Now, the next one here is Mobi. So the first two are essentially like KOL alpha bots, alpha agents that, again, give their opinion, update on different tokens, different projects, and giving their opinion on, tagged projects as well. Whereas Mobi AI here at a $91 million market cap, down from 200 million. Again, same thing, obviously, like the other two. It is a whale tracker kind of bot, so your AI co-pilot for crypto. Essentially, the main utility of it, at least on Twitter alone here, is that it actually tracks where a majority of the money is going. You can actually see here about 31 minutes ago has seen significant, Feifu, whatever the ticker is, has seen a lot of activity, gaining $400,000 in the last hour, and over $1 million over the last 12 hours, with 57 whales participating. So you could use that, and essentially, if you had notifications on or something, if you were up to date with the Mobi Twitter, you could look into the FAFO token and potentially see where all these whales keep rotating into new tokens and think, all right, let me look at this. Has it ran a lot? No. Potentially there could be a pump here. But also it just tells you, what whales are getting into, what coins are getting a lot of volume. So we see stuff like Frog here, as we mentioned earlier on in the video. We're getting a lot of volume, 22 whales buying into it in the last 24 hours here. Griffin, Arc, Vine, another meme coin, Unicorn, Fart Dust, UFD, another meme coin as well. So, this is how you want to use these tools here. Now, obviously, just because Mobi AI, like all the other ones, just put out the fact that, whales are buying into Griffin, buying in MLG, that doesn't mean that you can go ahead and buy into those projects also and ride those waves up. They could definitely crash the moment you look at them, but this is just letting you know where the money is potentially going, what whales are doing here. Again, perfect example here, how we see that AIXBT, if you actually click on this tweet here, trap, I don't know, just someone random on Twitter, let me get this straight, virtuals and AIXBT on base, Griffin and Mobi agent. You see where I'm going with this, Mobi and Griffin, saying that, Griffin, if Griffin was to catch up to virtuals, then Mobi agent, one of the leading agents on Griffin could potentially be at AIXBT level. And because he tagged him, we can see that AIXBT gave its opinion here, saying the base Solana theme is clear, but Mobi should be valued like AIXBT on its chain. So again, pretty insane here. And it says it again, Mobi about to make AIXBT numbers look small. Nice trajectory on both though. So, that's the, the opinion here. And this was on the 21st. So if we go ahead and look over here, on the 21st, when AIXBT gave its opinion, right in this range was around $100 million. And since AIXBT pointed out the fact that it was undervalued, maybe it should, go a little bit higher, it immediately ran up 200 million. Now that's just one example. Again, it's not always going to play out that way. That's just how it is in this case, but that's an advantage. Or if you would have been following AIXBT, you would notice the fact that it was saying that, hey, Mobi is undervalued. Again, when it's paired with Griffin, which is also undervalued compared to virtuals. It's kind of a web you have to follow here, but if you're in the space, this is essentially, again, you'll be familiar here. But either way, clear, use case here with AIXBT shouting out the fact that Mobi AI potentially is undervalued. And I do agree so, because it is a useful tool to actually understand where a lot of the money in whales are going into. And again, all you have to do is just follow them. You don't have to have the Mobi token either. So that is the third agent that you can actually go ahead and follow on Twitter. And again, guys, this is not all, obviously, the all and only tools or agents you can go ahead and follow on Twitter. There's a lot of them. These are just 4 that I follow as well. I just wanted to highlight to you guys that, I have these on notifications personally. So, and again, I'm not saying I buy into all these projects that they talk about. Obviously, I would not recommend anyone do that, but it's just a way of getting exposure to new projects, getting updates, seeing where the money's going into, and so onward. Now, the last one is QuantXBT. Now, this is obviously the smallest market cap out of all of them. So if you want to look for, potentially high upside here, obviously nothing's financial advice, just giving you guys my opinion and a couple, agents that I have my eyes on that are actually useful, because I do think this cycle, AI agents that actually make life easier. We're already seeing this with like narratives like DeFi AI, agents that actually make life easier, that actually implement tools, that make it easier to either trade, keep up to date, get opinion, feedback, information in the space. Those are going to be the ones that win, not ones that just have ideas or proposals or just vaporware. Whereas, yes, these are just, agents on Twitter. These are pretty useful tools in my opinion. Now, QuantXBT is actually, if I have to say out of all of them, I do think it's severely undervalued, especially when we look at something like Mobi. Again, being at that $100 million market cap, tracking whales. What QuantXBT does, and again, realizing that it's at a $5 million market cap at a $25 million, we'll come back to this. QuantXBT is it's a TA. So if you're not good at technical analysis, TA, reading the charts, see where potential entries are, QuantXBT is something that I would definitely recommend for you to take a look at here. As I say, Quant says share a chart by tagging me on X or in his Telegram group, and he'll provide a detailed TA on the project, on the price. So we can see that he's giving, TA here on Colt, on the Colt coin, saying that TA on Colt shows promising setup with strong support at, 0.02, RSI neutral, as well. So again, if you're not great at TA, I've always said TA is not necessarily my strong point either. This is a useful tool. Now, same thing, and I know it sounds a little repetitive, but I have to remind you guys, don't take this for gospel here. You still have to look at the project and have your own conviction and research on it. But let's say if you do hold something like Alchemy here, if you are waiting for a decent entry zone, you can ask Quant XBT, hey, I'm looking at this project, tag it, share the chart, and it will give you its opinion. Obviously, here saying, RSI deeply oversold at 24, continuous bearish movement on MACD, and sustained downtrend since January. Support at 0.4 is critical, so showing you a good, strong support level here as well. Stuff like Ethereum, Cult again, CBM. So again, if you're not strong at technical analysis TA here, then Quant XBT is something that you could always reach out to with a chart, with a ticker, and it'll give you its opinion here. With stuff like the Vine token, the Trump token we saw, Quant even itself gave its own opinion here, saying heavy volume with 1,400 buys versus 1,200 sales, reversal setup forming. This was, 18 hours ago now, so it's still extremely recent here. But either way, another tool, especially when we read it back and look at stuff like AXBT at a $500 million market cap, DTRXBT, at a $13 million. So to me, not saying it's a direct comparison, but it could be kind of like a undervalued beta play to something like AIXBT, just as an example. When we look at Moby here, obviously tied with the Griffin, at a $92 million market cap, with Griffin at a $500 million right now, somewhere around there, 300 million. When we look at Quant, now Quant is not tied to Virtuals or Griffin, so they actually are tied to Top Hat. So if you're bullish on Top Hat, which personally I am, I do think Top Hat is still, even with Virtuals coming to Solana, I still think Top Hat is still going to be one of those leading AI launchpad projects on Solana here. So when we look at if we look at Top Hat and leading useful agents on Top Hat, then Quant XBT does have the potential to maybe pull something like a Moby here, which we saw Moby run from a small market cap all the way up to 200 million. Now I'm not saying that Quant will necessarily do that, but we do see that it already ran up to 25 million, so it's already 5x down from its local highs here, its all-time high. So I do think people start using Quant more often, especially when we look at the fact that Moby has 71,000 followers, AIXBT obviously has 400,000 followers, and Quant has 36,000. So in my opinion, it's still pretty undervalued. And again, we see Top Hat right now is performing kind of choppy, as the majority of the market, especially AI agents, are as well. Now, with all these projects, I should mention that how the token performs, I do think that it is gonna weigh heavily on how the overarching platform performs as well. So we see AIXBT is down here recently, with Virtuals also down from its all-time highs. Now I don't have Top Hat or Griffin pulled up here. Actually, Griffin here is also down. It's down 30% on the 7-day. Top Hat, I want to say, should be right in here as well. I think Top Hat's around a $30 million market cap. So we see Top Hat is also down here over throughout this whole market conditions. So potentially is why we're seeing Quant down, just as an example. So if you're bullish on the leading ecosystem of any of these agents, whether it's Top Hat, Griffin, or Virtuals, I do think they are going to have some kind of correlation as far as price action goes for both the individual agent and the platform it's launched on. But again, my thesis here is that we continue to see AI agents be a leading narrative this cycle. I think we are just waiting for the market to flip bullish again. I do expect when that happens that we will see AI agents continue to run. But again, these are just 4 individual agents that you can literally go ahead and follow on Twitter for free here. Again, if you want daily alpha or just feedback on projects, maybe new projects you can look into, AIXBT and DTRXBT for a newer play are ones that I'd be looking at following. Moby AI, if you want something to actually track where a lot of the money's flowing into as well. And then Quant here for TA, technical analysis feedback on different projects. If that's not your strong suit, then Quant is potentially an option for you. But either way, guys, let me know in the comments below if you guys use any of these agents here, by following them on Twitter, or if there's other agents as well. If you're using them, whether it's on Twitter, Telegram, or any other platform, let me know which one of agents in this space are useful for you in your daily life. If they make anything easier in the crypto space for you, then I want to hear about it in the comments below. I try to answer all your guys' comments. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. And as always, if you guys want a way of supporting the channel, getting into that private community, we do have the Patreon linked below. And if you guys got value out of the information here, if you guys could like the video, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share the video. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, see you guys.